No license and no permit. Now a 14-year-old is dead after the SUV he was driving crashes into a wall. How he got behind the wheel in the first place. And a change in the case of the Phoenix man accused of decapitating his wife and dogs, when he'll go to trial. Plus, some of the greatest NASCAR drivers of all time right here in the Valley while they're firing up their engines nearly a month before the start of the race. That's next on 12 News at noon.
Connecting Arizona. This is 12 News.
Well, good afternoon to you, and thanks for watching 12 News at noon. I'm Matt Morrow. We begin with Phoenix police still investigating a devastating crash from overnight that killed a 14-year-old driver and sent a 13-year-old to the hospital. The SUV that 14-year-old was driving plowed right into a concrete wall behind a home. Officers spotted the SUV about 2:30 this morning, driving erratically with the headlights off. Moments later, it crashed through a number of yards of homes, then slammed into the wall of a home at the end of a T intersection. All 4 people involved were young teenagers.
The person that they detained here near the scene is also 14 years old. They've also learned that there was a 13-year-old that was in the vehicle. The 13-year-old ended up at a local hospital where he went home, talked with his parents. His parents took him to the hospital because he had some minor injuries.
And it turns out the SUV in this crash belongs to the parents of that 13-year-old. Investigators say those parents had no idea the teens had taken it for a joyride. Investigators have not said if the kids will face any charges. Meanwhile, detectives are investigating a suspicious infant death in North Phoenix. Police and firefighters responded overnight to reports of a 5-month-old not breathing at an apartment near 33rd Avenue and Thunderbird Road. Police say that child was rushed to the hospital where he died. No one has been arrested. Make sure you stay with 12 News and 12news.com for more updates on this story. And other police serving a search warrant overnight at this home in Chandler. They surrounded the home near Crean Road and Chandler Boulevard. SWAT units were even on scene. Police say it was all part of a stolen property investigation. They did not release any other details. And Phoenix police are still searching for whoever they say used a high-powered pellet gun to shoot 4 people on the side of the road. This happened early yesterday morning. Police say the shooter targeted 3 separate areas, apparently at random. These were all along Roosevelt, along 24th Street, 28th Street, and finally 32nd Street. All 4 people who were shot were taken to the hospital and should be okay. Police don't know much about who did it, except the shots might have come from a white or a gray sedan. Well, new information in the Phoenix freeway shootings case this afternoon. Court documents now revealing lawyers want the suspect, Leslie Merritt Jr. here, to be released without posting bail. DPS says Merritt was behind the first 4 freeway shootings. He's in jail right now on $1 million bond, but his lawyers claim there's not enough evidence to keep Merritt locked up. According to the documents we got a hold of, Merritt's lawyers are casting doubt about his whereabouts during the shootings. His attorneys say phone records show Merritt called his grandmother from Glendale during the first shooting and that he was home with his fiancée when her sister came by during another shooting. Well, there's now a trial date set for a man accused of decapitating his wife and dogs. That man is now set to go to trial next April. During a police interview with Kenneth Wakefield, he said he was under the influence of synthetic marijuana and methamphetamine when he committed the crime. Wakefield also mutilated himself after attacking his wife by cutting off one of his forearms and gouging out his right eye. Wakefield has pled not guilty. Well, the accused shooter in last week's shooting on the NAU campus is still in jail, and now court documents filed in Flagstaff show he's facing 2nd-degree murder charges, not first, and 6 aggravated assault charges. Stephen Jones is due in court Monday morning. The NAU Lumberjack family made a powerful statement yesterday where thousands turned out to remember the victims of that deadly shooting. Students walked the campus in solidarity, and many spoke during a memorial service. Well, brace yourselves. It will not feel like fall one bit today. A live look over downtown right now. Not a cloud in the sky. And probably a lot of people sweating outside as, Jimmy, we are flirting with record high temperatures in the middle of October. How hot are we talking?
Well, I think things are going to be a little bit on the toasty side for today. Take a look at this forecast. Nice weather out there, but I'll tell you what, I'm happy because we have about I'd say 18 more hours, and then things are going to start to go down. And our high temperature is actually going to hit at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock. A little bit of haze out there. Just remember about a month ago, I had those big cumulonimbus clouds building off towards the west of us, or the east of us. That's not the case right now. 94 degrees, which is warmer than what we should be for this time of day, this time of year. Record-setting heat, yeah, probably for today. Rain chances are going to start tomorrow, and they'll continue through Thursday. Yesterday we were saying on Saturday, but it looks like it's going to stretch a little bit more towards Sunday, so that's pretty good. Forecast model's getting pretty bullish on that. Cooler temperatures as well. It's this low pressure system that's going to be moving right on through, Matt. Today, though, a high temperature near 100 degrees. That would tie the record high on this date.
If we can get through today, we'll be all right. Thank you, Jimmy. Well, a roar can be heard from Avondale this afternoon as NASCAR teams take on a big day at the Phoenix International Raceway. We're still a month before drivers start their engines for that fall race, but today they're testing at the track and fans can take in the action for cheap. A $5 donation, that's it, to the Raceway's charity. Get you in to see drivers such as Jeff Gordon experiment with their race setups.
They want to be fast off the holler, and this is their venue to do that. I mean, if they didn't have testing, they would have to do everything before the race in practice, and they don't have time to do the kind of changes that they're going to do here today.
The drivers and their teams are on break until 1 o'clock, but they'll get their motors running again from 1 until 5. That race coming up in November is nearly a sellout, so if you planned on buying tickets, you better get them fast. Well, National Transportation Safety Board officials are in Florida now, where a small plane crashed into a mobile home park, bursting into flames overnight. The explosion and the fire that followed was caught on home video here. Meanwhile, there's security camera footage rolling not too far away, capturing that plane as it went down. Officials are saying the pilot was flying solo and was killed in the crash along with one person on the ground. They still are not sure what caused that crash. Well, there's almost as much talk today about who is not on the stage at last night's Democratic presidential debate as that debate itself, but clearly the two frontrunners dominated the debate. More now from NBC's Chris Clackham.
The day after Tuesday's debate in Las Vegas between candidates vying for the Democratic presidential nomination, some analysts wonder whether the missing Joe Biden may have missed an opportunity.
You know, the moment where everyone is screaming at the top of the lungs for you to get in is when you should get in. When they stop screaming, it only gets harder. And running for president is pushing a boulder up the hill.
Pass comprehensive gun.
The debate itself is being called a civil war between the candidates, most notably frontrunners Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, with him setting the tone.
The American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
You know?
There were contentious moments, though, like when Clinton was asked about Sanders' position on gun control.
Secretary Clinton, is Bernie Sanders tough enough on guns?
No, not at all. This has gone on too long, and it's time the entire country stood up against the NRA.
All the shouting in the world is not going to do what I would hope all of us want, and that is keep guns out of the hands of people who should not have those guns and end this horrible violence that we are seeing.
The next debate among Democrats is a month from today, with a decision from Biden on whether he'll be there expected long before then. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
Former NBA player Lamar Odom is still in the hospital this afternoon after being found unconscious in a brothel in Nevada. Now players from all around the league are sharing their support for Odom. Here's what Clippers point guard Chris Paul said earlier today during a news conference in China.
The last thing I want to say is I just wanted to extend love and support to one of our NBA brothers, Lamar Odom. We love you, man. Keep fighting. He's a member of this fraternity, our basketball brotherhood, man, and we love you, and we are there for you, man. So thank y'all.
Most people know Odom for his career with the LA Lakers and more so for his highly publicized marriage to reality TV star Khloe Kardashian in 2009. The pair split and filed for divorce in 2013. Despite that, it's being reported that Khloe and her sister Kim have flown to Vegas to be by Lamar's side. 3,400 kids all around Phoenix will be able to cozy up with a new book today after a presentation in Avondale this morning. City Councilman Lorenzo Sierra delivered the books donated through the Avondale Literacy Work Teams project that tapped into the First Book program. They're trying to raise lifelong readers in the historic Avondale neighborhoods. For some of these kids, this will be the first book they ever own.
I think it's awesome. I think it's a great way to teach them to love reading, and what better way to have them, have the books that they like to read.
Councilman Sierra told us he sees himself in these kids and he remembers how important it was to have his favorite books read to him as a child as he was sitting on his father's lap. Well, you might not realize it, but you're in the middle of the real wedding season. See where October ranks for couples walking down the aisle. Plus, put this one on the ridiculous list: a woman suing her own nephew for hugging her. Not getting here. We'll tell you who the jury sided with coming up.
Call 12 for Action has a team of volunteers standing by right now to take your phone calls. Call 602-260-1212 to see if Call 12 for Action can help you.